Imagine a world where the past you remember isn't what everyone else remembers, where you're sure the details of events, images and people have mysteriously changed overnight, where your reality has stepped subtly sideways into an unfamiliar place. A world where the only answers to the mystery seem to lie in cutting-edge experiments, sparking rumours of universe-altering consequences. Could our reality be less stable than we think? Could our experiments be reshaping the very fabric of our universe? Let's find out as we question everything. It was just another Sunday for Dave. He met his friends at the Brood Awakening, their favourite coffee spot, to chat about life, the universe and everything. Dave casually quoted his favourite line from the Basil Rathbone film, "Elementary, my dear Watson." Jules leaned forward, disagreeing. She argued the line had never been said in a movie. Dave was certain she was wrong. The scene was vivid in his mind. A heated debate erupted, everyone scrambling for their phones to verify their point of view. After 10 minutes, Dave had to concede. No evidence supported his or anyone else's memory of that event. Despite the facts, they still remembered the line perfectly. Only an article about the Large Hadron Collider shed a faint light on what may be happening. Our investigation today begins with the Mandela Effect, a bizarre phenomenon where large groups of people appear to remember events or details differently from recorded history. The effect is named after Nelson Mandela because many recall him dying in the 1980s while in prison in South Africa, rather than as the ex-president of South Africa in 2013. This is not a memory I personally share. Nonetheless, this effect raises intriguing questions about our collective memory, and maybe even the very nature of reality itself. While I do not share that particular memory, I do recollect certain things very differently to the accepted and historical narrative. Some events that I do remember very differently from the accepted norm held by the majority of people include C-3PO and his silver leg.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
In the original Star Wars movies, I, along with many others, remember C-3PO as having a completely gold body. I had an action figure of him, and it definitely did not have a silver leg. However, apparently his right leg was actually silver and always has been. A detail that has me scratching my head in disbelief every time I now see it. Then there's the famous showdown between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader that draws a dramatic climax to The Empire Strikes Back. Many fans, including me, remember Darth Vader famously saying, "Luke, I am your father." But the actual line is,
"No, I am your father."
This misquote, I say that reluctantly, is very widespread and often given as an example of collective false memory. But every time I watch that movie now and I hear Darth Vader saying, "No, I am your father," something stirs inside of me, a strangely uncomfortable feeling informing me that this is not how it was, that this does not fit with my memory. Another example is the Febreze spelling. Many, including myself, remember the air freshener being spelled as Febreze with a double E in the middle, but the official spelling is Febreze with one E. I have a clear recollection of seeing this on the telly when I was a kid with two E's, but the official narrative and historical examples showing one E, this really what gets me questioning myself and the reliability of my own memories. Then there's the Monopoly Man. Like many others, I remember the Monopoly Man. God, I used to hate that game. It only ever seemed to be dragged out at Christmas as an attempt to bore guests into going home in my mind. But on the cover of the box, I do remember the top-hatted toff wearing a monocle and holding a cane, but not. And he never has, apparently. Play It Again, Sam from Casablanca is another. Humphrey Bogart's character Rick never says this line, "Play it again, Sam." It's Ingrid Bergman's character Elsa that says it. Along with many other people, my recollection is of Humphrey Bogart saying that iconic line. I can even remember comedy sketches and parodies where the comedians were playing Bogart's part and saying the line. I mean, come on. And of course, not forgetting Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is another big one for me. I grew up in a time when this was a big kids movie and a must watch. I saw it at the cinema as a child, and no, not when it first was released. I'm not that old, not just yet. Many, like myself, remember the evil queen in one of the most famous scenes saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" But the actual line is, "Magic mirror on the wall, it would appear." I'm sure it was mirror, mirror. The list of anomalies of this kind goes on. It seems there are many famous instances of things not being as they were remembered to be by thousands of people worldwide, and it is only the famous examples that tend to come to light. I wonder what other everyday trivialities may have shifted slightly in events, images and names people remember differently. Much easier to dismiss these anomalies as the individual's mistakes when it is only singular or small groups of people who remember things another way from those around them. Not so easily when it comes to thousands. But who is to say the same effect is not at work in many areas of our lives and these small ways? But what exactly is going on here? Are these evidence of shifts in our reality, or is something more explainable, more psychological taking place? Psychologists suggest these memory anomalies result from cognitive biases or simply misinformation. It got me thinking. Could my memory of Darth Vader, C-3PO, the evil queen, the Monopoly Man's monocle, the Febreze spelling, Casablanca, could these simply be mistakes or glitches in my memory? I felt it worth a little exploration. So what is cognitive bias? Well, that was my starting point anyway. After a little research, I discovered cognitive bias can be thought of as being like a mental shortcut or mistake our brain makes when it processes information. Lord knows I'm guilty of taking a few shortcuts. These shortcuts help us make quick decisions, but they can also lead us astray, potentially leading us away from the truth. For example, my brain might fill in gaps in memory with assumptions after the fact. If I had not wholly downloaded the memory correctly the first time, my mind will fill in these gaps for itself, potentially remembering things incorrectly, creating patterns, making connections that aren't really there, all without me realising it. Now that I can believe. I was not exactly the most attentive child. But I'm not convinced that this is what's going on here, particularly with The Empire Strikes Back, Casablanca and Snow White. I may have been a distracted student, but when it came to movies I was gripped. Every scene, every word writing itself into me like a neon light. In film, if I watched it with my whole being. So no, with mental bias in these examples, I am not convinced at all. The Mandela Effect has also been thought of in terms of just simple misinformation. Are we actually sure our memories are of the original ones or of later updates of misinformation we received and replaced the originals with? Like later memories of the Mandela Effect information taking the place of the original memories. An example I have of this was a picture my mom used to show me of me in an inflatable canoe on a river as a baby. I was sure I could remember this event happening, being on that river in the canoe, the sound of the water, the sunshine, how big it all seemed, how scared I was. But I was just a few months old at the time, and I'm pretty certain my memories of that event were created through seeing the picture regularly from when I was just a few years old. We don't remember that early in our lives, right? Or do we? Questioning everything has me spinning around in circles sometimes. Either way, it is not easy to decipher, to unpick real memories from created ones. I can accept that. However, I definitely remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," and the evil queen saying, "Mirror, mirror." Don't even get me started about C-3PO's silver leg. The idea that our memories could be remnants of alternate realities is, for me at least, a tantalising possibility that fits into a universe I have always felt was not quite as we were being told it was. The idea of shifting realities is far too fascinating an idea to ignore, something worth questioning a little deeper. So unpicking the possibility of reality having shifted took me from memory to matter, My questioning took me to CERN and the Large Hadron Collider, the world's most powerful particle accelerator, a piece of technology pushing the boundaries of physics and our understanding of the universe. While CERN's work advances our understanding of fundamental particles, it has also fueled speculation of a far greater cosmic impact. Before they first turned on the LHC in Switzerland, the world's largest particle accelerator, in 2008, probably worth mentioning here that Switzerland is a place shrouded in mystery in itself, in connection to conspiracies to the elite, world control, the Illuminati, and one world governorship, but that's a subject for another episode. Getting back on track, before they turned on the LHC in 2008, there was a growing fear doing so might create a black hole that would swallow and tear our planet apart. Some believe it did. Well, maybe not swallowing the Earth in the literal sense, I guess we might have noticed that, but may have opened a rift in the fabric of space-time. Some suggest that CERN's experiments, especially the discovery of the Higgs boson, could alter the fabric of our reality, opening portals to parallel universes, causing shifts that impact our version of history as we subtly sidestep into a different timeline. In order to create the destruction of fundamental particles, something they do to smash them into smaller and smaller pieces as a way of measuring and quantifying the building blocks of matter, of reality, they accelerate particles close to the speed of light. And the speed of light is a very strange phenomenon indeed, a place where the normal rules of our existence start to break down exponentially, a place where the very boundaries, the very fabric of space-time begins to unravel. With that in mind, maybe it's not too hard to conceive that these experiments may have altered the nature of our universe, changing the very fabric of our existence in minute, almost imperceptible ways. Like a line from the movie, a detail from a character's look, a name, a spelling, or even the life and death of a significant world figure. While mainstream science views these ideas with great skepticism, the imagination is free to ponder. Are we actually living with unintended consequences of scientific progress? Or maybe even intended ones? Note to self, episode on who or what controls our reality. The concept of parallel universes isn't confined to science fiction. Theoretical physics proposes models of a multiverse, a vast array of universes where every possibility plays out somewhere. Could shifts we perceive be collisions or integrations with alternate timelines? Course changes in the direction our reality takes. These ideas challenge our understanding of reality, stepping beyond physics into the realm of philosophy. Are we living in one of countless possible realities? If we live in an infinite universe, does the cohesion of all possibilities infiltrate into experienced reality? Note to self, episode on infinity. Beyond scientific speculation, everyday experiences like déjà vu or prophetic dreams also feed the narrative of shifting realities. Could they also be glimpses into alternate timelines, dimensions even? Or are they mere tricks our minds play upon us? Is there a hard line between these ideas, or a diffuse spectrum that we flow within? While there are many rational explanations, such phenomena contribute heavily toward the mystery that reality may not be as fixed as we believe it to be. Note to self, episode on the nature of reality. Popular culture eagerly feeds and reflects these ideas. Films like The Matrix or shows like Stranger Things not only entertain but also spark curiosity and keep the conversation alive about our perceptions of reality, maybe even fueling the acceptance of such ideas into the collective consciousness. Note to self, episode on the Illuminati, perceptual control and Hollywood's part it plays. It is my belief that through the lens of questioning everything, we explore and challenge what we consider the limits of our reality to be. And that can't be a bad thing, right? As Albert Einstein may or may not have said, question everything. So what do you think? Are these reality shifts or a quirky trick of the mind, accidental or not scientific advances, or a glimpse into something far greater? Perhaps the attraction of these mysteries lies not in uncovering absolute truths, but in the questions they leave us to ponder. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating exploration. I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences with reality shifts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to see more, then please consider hitting the like button. And if you'd like to be kept informed of new episodes as they're released, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I look forward to seeing you again soon as we continue our adventures into the unknown, the unsettling, the fascinating and utterly bizarre. In the meantime, question everything.